Good evening and welcome to another Monday Night Insight. First and foremost, I'd like to say congratulations to all the people who graduated Omega 2 last night. We had a wonderful group. It was nice to be back in the classroom. Lots of tears shed, lots of laughter, and definitely lots of growth. As most of you know, Omega 2 is my favorite program, so it was a joy to be able to share this journey with our participants. So again, congratulations to you. Now, tonight's topic, I wanted to talk about the sessions that we have, our obsessions and possessions. And how do we tell whether or not an obsession or a possession is healthy for us? Most of the time when we think about obsession and possession, we go to the negative. But an obsession can be very helpful and can also lead us to a very healthy lifestyle. The definition of obsession, let me just give this. It's a very simple definition. It means to be preoccupied. So it fills my mind with an extent. It could go to an extreme extent, but let's say I'm obsessed with a conversation. Or unfortunately, I could be obsessed with a thought of suicide. Or some of us are obsessed with social media. Those are forms of obsession. It could be anything that is preoccupying my mind. But it doesn't have to be negative. Obsessions can also fuel our passion. Mother Teresa, for example, was obsessed with the idea that no child will go left unloved. So her entire philosophy and her entire, I don't want to call it churchhood, but her existence was the idea that every child be loved. It doesn't matter who it is, every child will be loved. She also was obsessed with the idea of poverty. Don't spend money on frivolities, just spend the money on what is important. Oftentimes she would surprise people when they built her these great centers, and she'd walk in and say, rip out the carpet, get rid of those couches. We don't need these accessories. We just need to focus on our mission. So that's obsession. That could be a healthy form of obsession. So as I said, obsession can help us motivate our passion and help us continue on our path when I'm obsessed with a goal. It can be very beneficial for us. Many athletes are obsessed with their goals. Again, when taken to an extreme, it can be unhealthy, but I'm jumping ahead of myself. Now, let's take a look at the word possession, to be possessed by something. This is another simple definition. It means to own, have an ability, quality, or characteristic. Also means to have power over. So I can possess all of my possessions. I possess a computer. I possess my home. I possess my dog, but I wouldn't say that. We share our space together. But you understand, when I own something or I have the power over something, that would be a possession. We could say that a woman she has a powerful voice. She possesses a powerful voice. He possesses a great talent. I mean, that's what it means. We take ownership of it. It is a part of us. And again, as I said, when taken to an extreme, this can be damaging or detrimental. But to have a healthy possession can be very beneficial. Albert Einstein possessed a great mind. And look at the contribution that he did. Stephen Hawking, another individual, possessed a great mind. And look at the contributions that they have made. So when it comes to obsession or possession, they can be used in a very healthy manner. But of course, what I'm talking about now is, when do we become violently obsessed or violently possessed? When does it get to be, is there a switch that flips where once you cross the line, this is unhealthy possession now. It's an unhealthy obsession, which really can be very detrimental and very injurious. A person can be obsessed to a point that in their mind they've consumed this image, and I think about stalkers. They've created a relationship in their mind that doesn't even exist, and they're obsessed with an individual. I mean, we've all seen enough TV shows and read enough crime drama about people who are possessed with another individual, that it actually can be very damaging and dangerous. There's anorexia is another illustration of being obsessed with an image of being thin. So it's an idea in our mind. Jealousy is derived from insecurities. Expectations and disappointments. These are results of being obsessed with an outcome. I mean, truly obsessed with an outcome. When you are extremely disappointed, it's because you had an expectation, and this is the way it's going to be, and some people don't get up. They don't give up until they get there. They're going to force it. That's an extreme. And then you could be possessed to a point where emotions run rampant, and again, you could conceive illogical images. We could be so obsessed with greed that we could be so possessed with greed that everything else is, we rationalize our actions. Bernie Madoff is the first person I can think of. He was possessed with greed and took advantage of so many people. Unfortunately, so many people fell victim to him. They can be delusional. People who are possessed can be delusional. And that's why they commit murder. Like Jeffrey Dahmer was possessed with the idea that he can drill into somebody's brain so he can control them. Ted Kaczynski, Timothy McVeigh, Susan Smith, Amy Fisher. These are just names of people that I would consider obsessed, where they killed because they had this image in their mind and they rationalize their actions. Unfortunately, we say that a person is guilty by insanity. That would be possession. They're guilty by a possessive nature in their mind. So the world is full of obsessed and possessed individuals, and as I've already said, they're positive and then they can go negative. So how do we determine the switch? How do we determine whether or not my possession or obsession is healthy or unhealthy? My husband might say my obsession with my shoes is an unhealthy obsession, so I have 50 pairs. That could be an obsession. Or we have some people who are obsessed with social media, where they go to sleep with the phone in their hand, they wake up with the phone in their hand, the phone is in their hand, and they're constantly checking. What are my like status? How many people have, or TikTok videos or whatnot. You understand social media, I get that. It can be a very unhealthy obsession and possession that we have. So a healthy possession possesses a strong will. A healthy obsession can produce a healthy lifestyle. Like if I'm possessed with eating right, if I'm obsessed with eating right, then I make my choices. Oh, I'm not having sugar, so now I have to consciously choose the things that I'm having to avoid sugar. That can lead to a very healthy lifestyle. And some people can take it to an extreme or get a little annoyed. Oh, we can't go somewhere because Anne Marie's not eating sugar. It could be taken to an extreme, but again, it can produce a healthy lifestyle. An unhealthy obsession with fitness can destroy families. Like unhealthy, I knew somebody who used to be in the gym 4 hours, 5-6 hours a day, and it just kept going on and on. I have to work out, and their relationships started to fall apart because all they did was talk about working out and the way they looked, and I've got to get my muscle mass back, and that's unhealthy. And then, of course, like I said, the idea of possession is a strong will that can help me overcome obstacles. If I'm possessed with this idea in my mind and I'm going to make it, like those of us who start our own businesses, we're possessed with it. This is what I've got to do, and I focus and I set the goals and I'm focused on that, and my mind is on the horizon, my eyes are on the horizon. That can be healthy as long as we keep it in check. That's the point, is to be able to keep it in check. So, back to my question. How does one become aware of being in control or being controlled by? Because that's really what it comes down to. Either I'm in control of my obsession and possessions, or I'm being controlled by my obsessions and possessions. How do I determine that? How do I determine it where I'm healthy or unhealthy? So the first step that you have to do is step outside yourself. One of the best ways to step outside yourself is ask for feedback. Get feedback from people around you. Hey, is this healthy or unhealthy? Am I being a little too much here? And get some honest feedback. That will give you a clear picture, because sometimes when we're wrapped up in it, we don't see it. And it's important that we look out. So the first step is to get outside feedback. When we get the feedback, we can look back at ourselves through another set of eyes. Very, very important. The second thing you have to ask or do is examine the quality of your life. Do you feel happy? Are you driven to nausea, or are you driven with joy? Do you make yourself sick because you don't get what you want? Or do you find yourself looking forward to what you're doing because it fills you with excitement? Those are things that you can think of. And then think about the contribution. Is what you're obsessed with and possessed with making a contribution to your life or not? So are your family and friends inspired by you? They're, oh, look at that. She's really losing weight. She's working on it. And, oh, look at that. He's really been committed to achieving, starting his own business. Like, that inspires us. So are we inspiring our family and our friends? These are forces. It's don't be dismayed. Obsession and possession are forces that we contend with. And as I said, we are either in control of them or they control us. It's not that we want to eliminate them, because I think they're very beneficial when I choose them consciously. I think that's probably another thing. Oh, I don't know, because we can choose something to begin with and then it goes astray. So then if we could just delightfully go back to my obsession with shoes, is it an extreme obsession? You know, I think, to me, when I look at the shoes that I have, there aren't too many privileges I give myself. And it's like something I delight myself in. When I have extra cash and I feel like having a set of shoes, oh, that's nice. Now, I say I have all these shoes, but let's keep in mind I've been purchasing shoes for 20, 30 years, and some of my shoes are actually that old. So it's not like I just keep recycling, just buying new shoes. I think the last pair of shoes I bought was maybe a year ago. Maybe, oh, except for the slippers that I'm wearing right now, which I bought last month. So, you know, I can rationalize it either way. But I think if I was stuck on, I've got to have more shoes, I've got to have more shoes, like Imelda Marcus, that would be dangerous. Does it bring me joy? Yeah, my shoes bring me joy. Does it inspire people? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But it does bring me joy, and I don't feel nauseous when I think about my shoe collection. And really, I'm just bringing that up because my husband laughs at me because he thinks I have too many shoes. Anyway, that is the topic I wanted to talk tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate you joining in, and thank you, above all, thank you for keeping the spirit of Omega alive. As a side note, we do have an Omega 1 that is scheduled for April 29th through May 1st. So if you're interested in doing that, hit our website and register from there. Until then, until the next time we speak, I hope you have a wonderful evening. Bye now.